Hey everybody, what's going on? So let's talk Indiana Jones. No spoilers. This is behind the scenes. First of all, introduce yourself and let everybody know what was your role in Indiana Jones.
My name is Dirk Westervelt. I'm one of the picture editors on the film. There were three of us, along with Mike McCusker, our lead editor, Andrew Buckland, and myself.
And so what was it exactly for those that aren't VFX savvy?
So I'm the picture editor, and what that means is that we get the footage that comes from set, and we cut that together into scenes then we work with the director to put the scenes together in the way that he wants it to end up being. In this case, we're talking about visualization today. We're also on before they start shooting the movie, and we're getting footage that's animated footage from these guys that's used to plan the shoot. So they're sending us these animations. Sometimes they've got that into a rough cut already, and then we further work on it with the director to finesse that to get a plan in place for what they're actually going to go shoot for real when they go and shoot the scenes.
Have you been in industry long enough to see where, we'll say, the old way of doing it to this? And if you were, to you, what do you prefer, the old way or this new way of animatics?
I have, unfortunately, been in the business since the Stone Age, so I do know a lot about that older way of working. When I came into editorial, we were starting to cut on computers, but we still had film in the cutting room, so it was a very different world. We weren't doing this kind of visualization that we're talking about really yet. It was more just storyboards at that point. This has all evolved to this point where we're doing this kind of, the animated visualization to plan for shoots. We'll never go back. I don't think. I appreciate the way we used to do it, but there's so many more tools at our disposal now, and there's no way we're ever going to stop using those. So
let's actually wrap up that way. One of the it's a big topic we've been talking about here with all the interviews is AI. That's one of the newest and one of the biggest tools. To you guys behind this, how do you guys see AI as a tool or something that maybe might replace? They may not need us eventually.
Right. In terms of AI, generally speaking, I guess everybody that's got a job in the world can have that concern, like, oh, are these things coming for our jobs? I guess we're in that place right now where nobody really knows where this is going. I think. For me, the bigger concern or the biggest concern with AI is James Cameron was on record the other day talking about weaponization of AI or something, which is completely has nothing to do with the world that I work in or making films.
Well, I was going to say we've seen Terminator. He made Terminator.
That's
so
right.
He knows.
He tried to tell us.
Yeah. All right. So thanks a lot, there.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
So, still talking the behind the scenes, the visual effects of Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. With me, please introduce yourself and tell everybody what you did for Indiana Jones.
My name is Patrice Avery. I'm with Proof, and we did pre-viz, post-viz for Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and so I had Dirk explain that in one of the interviews you guys are watching, but for those that aren't VFX savvy, what does that mean exactly?
Well, from the previs side, it's pre because it's before they shoot. So you're basically figuring out with the director and his storyboard artist kind of the beats that he wants to capture, and you kind of create a digital version, like an animated version of those scenes to help plan out the camera moves and what's VFX, what's practical, some cases wild walls and that kind of stuff. So with all the action scenes and all this movie, there's a lot to figure out beforehand. So when they got on set, they kind of had a plan of how that was going to land. So.
Yeah, see, we'll give you guys visual aid. See these things here? They used to be called storyboards. What you're describing now, it's kind of like a cartoon sort of.
It's like an animated storyboard.
Not what we all see, but which I think it sounds like. I'm not a filmmaker, but it sounds like this way is much easier and faster.
Well, yeah, I feel like for us, it's a smaller team that can iterate very quickly, so you're not spending the money on set. So that could be millions of dollars that you're spending a day to figure out that maybe a whole scene doesn't work. So we're kind of we're the sandbox kind of for the director and people to play in to figure out creatively what they want to do and what they want to actually shoot on the day. So, and then post-viz is once you shoot, sometimes you shoot in a tank, like the eel stuff was in a tank.
Yeah.
So they're just seeing blue screen, like a couple people swimming. And so we're putting in the boat and the eels and all the other stuff so that when they're editing it, they have all the imagery there so they're smart with the edit, not just some random guy swimming in a tank,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and by the way, we're not spoiling anything. If we do, we'll warn you.
Oh, sorry.
In case anybody hasn't seen the movie yet. No, but it's been around for a while, previous. But are directors, do they like it, or how do you see them react to it?
Yeah, I think a lot of directors seem to like it. Like different movies have different folks that use it. So sometimes you're working with a visual effects soup as like the primary. I think for Jim, he's worked with Clint since Night and Day. So there's like this is a 5th film. So I think starting with that, he started embracing it as a real planning tool. So I think if everyone uses it a little differently, but I think most directors appreciate kind of having that. So it's kind of a blueprint that you get before you're on set. So it kind of makes you get your thoughts organized a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm sure you work with a lot of big films, but this is Indiana Jones, something that we all grew up with, we all know.
Yeah.
What was it like working on an Indiana Jones film?
I think because historically, you have a lot of memories of it and watching the movies, and it's always on something, TNT, something on TV. I think it's kind of surreal in a way because you're doing the problems that you're trying to solve on any movie, but then you're like, oh, it's like Indy that's running through screen, and it's very nostalgic. And I think if you ever take a step back, you go, oh, this is so cool. Like whatever, even if there's a day that you're struggling with anything, you're like, but I'm solving it for like Indiana Jones. It's like it kind of ups the ante a little bit. So.
Yeah, so it must have been a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah,
So again, thanks a lot for your time.
All right, thank you so much.
And here we are, still talking Indiana Jones. We won't spoil it, although we might. Those of you who haven't seen it, it's your fault by this point. You should have seen it by now.
That's right.
A few times. Clint Regan with us. You've heard him before on the show. This time around, Clint, what did you do for Indiana Jones?
So this time I was the visualization supervisor for the production. Rather than working for a visualization house, I was hired directly by the film itself, and I worked with the director, with all the production heads to harness the vision for the film in picture form. So we had some storyboards, we had artwork from the production designer, but I was responsible with my team of amazing artists from Proof, who I hired to do the work for us. We brought all of it together to animate sequences of action and adventure, and then camera shots, and then editing together with Dirk Westervelt, who was and one of the editors I worked so closely with, to build the sequences that everybody could be excited about and remember. So after that, we hand it off to, when the director approves it, then it starts getting built for production to actually film what we designed.
Well, give us a little behind the scenes look. Was there anything in there? I mean, Harrison Ford is a little up there, and that's kind of what the movie's about anyway.
Yeah, and that's the story.
Yeah, was there anything that he saw and said, I don't know if I can do that?
You know what? I was never on set during the filming, but from what rumors I heard, he was always game to just do whatever he could. And so I don't know much more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the last one. He
Yeah.
kind of had to.
But the story was that, he was a man that's, slowed down, and it's the end, it's the sunset of the life, and he was starting to feel kind of useless, and he, in the movie, got to prove that's not the case. You're not useless. Don't feel that. And it fed the story well.
Yeah, but were you guys involved at all in well, I won't spoil it, in the opening sequence, we'll say?
Yes, I was a big part of helping design this opening sequence. What you'll note all the indie movies have a 14-minute intro. This one, I think it was 20 minutes or 22 minutes, because we really wanted to give one more classic Indy Jones moment.
Yeah.
And running from trains and motorcycles and jumping from bridges, I got to be a part of all of that, helping to visualize that, help the director find what he wanted to show to the audiences.
Okay, let's wrap up with two last questions. One fun one kind of serious one. The
Okay.
serious one is, it's been a topic with all of the everything here. I mean, you can't not talk about it, and that's AI. AI is kind of a big thing. Some see it as just a tool, others as it's going to take my job away. On the visual effects side, how do you guys see AI?
I'm being although I'm sometimes grouped with visual effects, because I'm doing visualization before the film, I'm not doing any final effects. I don't get to interface a lot with the texts that are being used to get those looks. I was just as amazed as everybody else when we first saw Industrial Light and Magic's work. I know they had hundreds of people working on the face look, and with Indy, or with Harrison, I should say, and we were just as amazed.
Indy, so.
Yeah, he is Indy. To see all that. Am I worried about AI? I think good filmmaking is good filmmaking, and that's what I focus on. I don't know a lot about the deep tech. I don't really look into it, because what I love is the camera work, the meaning behind the camera work, the action, and what it says about the character and the journey they're on. I love it when other people handle the technical stuff for me.
Yeah. It's not like me, actually. That's why I have my son behind.
That's right. Yeah, leave it to the smart people.
Yeah. And the fun one, and it's, again, like you said, it's indie. We all grew up with indie. We all know indie. For you, how was it working on an Indiana Jones film?
Working on an Indiana Jones film was honestly a fulfillment of a goal I made in high school. When I sat in front of The Last Crusade for the 4th time, I was with my parents, and I was watching it and feeling just as excited about it as I did the first time I saw it. I remember sitting there saying, I need to be on that screen someday. I want my name in those credits. I want to help make this kind of experience for as many people as I can because of what I was feeling that day. Yeah. So to be on this end where now I'm getting to help make these adventures and add that to other people's lives is very fulfilling.
Yeah, I like that. So, Clint, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.